dealing with an emergency and working with real estate to help you resolve that emergency is kind of a relative term, but I mean, there are some general emergency scenarios that we work with. People that have had some form of job loss, people that have gone through a divorce, people that have had a loved one pass away unexpectedly, and bills are continuing to pile up. Those tend to produce kind of red light emergencies, but an emergency could be just a house is getting, in disrepair, and even though it's in relatively good shape from our perspective, it's an emergency to make that transition, in the home seller's perspective. So dealing with a house in an emergency is a relative term, but what we try to do, at least from my perspective, is one thing I don't necessarily like about our industry in terms of the investment and buying homes for cash is the true cash investor is the exception to the rule. Most people are brokers or transaction brokers where they'll put you under contract. They go out and try to sell the contract. They go to these seminars that say that they want to learn how to buy houses with other people's money. And so they'll put a contract in place and then they'll go find a C party to buy the contract. And that's just not what we do. We buy, close, rehab, sell, 100% of our properties. And in those environments, you can enter in spaces where the people will disappear on you potentially, or they'll come back and negotiate a lower price, or they'll want more time because they're not finding that buyer on the back end. It just becomes a very uncomfortable scenario. But in terms of the emergency is how can we assist helping you through that? And how can I help safeguard a fair and transparent transaction? I tend to teach that internally at KC Property Guys, and we tend to take that to heart. There's too many people that try to take advantage of emergencies, and they'll call on the phone and they'll see, say, a foreclosure, and your house has become public information for the people that know how to find it on the foreclosure list. So here comes these ambulance chasers, for lack of a better word, trying to take care of try to take advantage of a life scenario. It drives me nuts. And so we tend to try to take the high road with people and treat people fairly. Whether you're trying to sell a house because you're happy and you want to, or you're trying to take care of a life scenario, a life emergency, you get the same price. The numbers are the numbers. The house is worth so much. It needs this much deferred maintenance and repair, and my profit buffer is there so I can absorb any of the surprises through the repair, and hopefully there are no surprises and we actually make money, so I can avoid being a charity and try to maintain a business, but treat it fairly. At the end of the day, treat it fairly regardless of the situation. We've seen them all, and so we'll help you navigate those variables, and I may ask you to slow down, take a breath. Let's make sure you understand what you're getting into. Let's be extremely transparent. Make sure I have all the resources in place that can help you support you making the right decision, through that transaction. So at the end of the day, we can use the house as a tool to navigate through the emergency, and you can feel good about the transaction that you made the right choice. That's ultimately what we look for at KC Property Guys.